Deep in a valley, nestled between hills and a shimmering lake, lived a young shepherd boy. Every day he tended to his flock, watched over by a weathered old dog named Bark. Life was peaceful until boredom set in. Then the boy began playing tricks on the nearby village. Whenever the villagers came out to gather berries or herbs, the boy would shout, "Wolf, wolf, a big bad wolf is chasing my sheep," and then he'd run off, laughing as he heard the villagers' shouts and the clatter of their returning footsteps. He delighted in their frightened faces, their brave words, and their angry looks. It was his game to make them run up the hill only to find no wolf. Then one day, as the boy skipped through the tall grass, he saw a real wolf slinking through the trees. Its eyes glinted with hunger, its teeth like daggers. The boy froze, his laughter dying in his throat. This was no playful wolf, this was a predator. In a flash, it was upon him, knocking him down, trying to tear his throat out. The boy screamed for help, but his voice caught in his chest. No one was coming to save him. This time, there really was a wolf, and he couldn't call for help. As the wolf snarled, preparing for the kill, the boy had an idea. If the villagers didn't believe him when he cried wolf, then he would cry something else, something that couldn't possibly be a lie. So as the wolf lunged, the boy cried out, "Big bad snake, save me from the wolf." Now, snakes were rare in this part of the valley, and when they appeared, the villagers would come running to kill it. As the boy screamed about the snake, the wolf hesitated. It wasn't sure what to make of this new threat. The boy took his chance. He scrambled away from the wolf, ran past the trees, and shouted again, "Big bad snake, help me." The wolf, confused and scared, finally slunk away. The boy collapsed against a tree, his heart pounding. He had tricked the wolf, but now he had to get to the village before it changed its mind. He started running, stumbling over rocks and fallen logs, desperate to get away. But the wolf was fast. Soon he could hear its heavy paws pounding the ground behind him, gaining on him. Then he cried out, "Big bad snake, I'm trapped. I need your help," and he kept running. The wolf was almost upon him when suddenly a figure emerged from the trees. It was a woman, her face creased with worry. She looked at the boy, then at the wolf, and shouted, "You need my help." Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward and whacked the wolf over the head with her basket. Dazed, the wolf howled and ran off. The boy stopped running and stared at the woman in disbelief. She had saved him. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice hoarse from fear. The woman helped him up and said, "Are you hurt?" When the boy shook his head, she led him to a nearby stream, gave him water to drink, and then asked, "Why did you call for help? Was there really a wolf?" The boy, ashamed, hung his head. He knew he had been lying, but this time he really needed help. He looked up at the woman and whispered, "I'm sorry. I lied to you. There wasn't a wolf. There never has been. I'm sorry." The woman's face softened with understanding. She knew that sometimes people get carried away with their lies, but the boy's deception had nearly cost him his life. She said, "You must be very careful, young one. If you cry wolf and the villagers come running, and there is no wolf, they will lose faith in you. And if you really need help one day, they might not come because they think it's another one of your lies." The boy's face drained of color. He understood what she meant. His lies had consequences, and if he ever needed the villagers' help, they might not come. The boy cried, "I know. I'm sorry. Please don't tell the villagers." The woman nodded, and then she turned and walked away. The boy watched her go, feeling the weight of his actions. He knew he had to make things right. He turned and walked back towards his sheep, the guilt heavy on his shoulders. As the days passed, the boy's heart grew heavier. He hadn't lied to the villagers since that day, and he felt a deep sadness inside him. He couldn't stop thinking about what the woman had said. What if he really needed the villagers' help and they didn't come because he had lied so many times before? One night, as the boy lay in his bed, he heard a noise outside. He sat up and listened. It was a low growl, and then he heard it again. "Wolf, wolf, a big bad wolf is chasing my sheep." The boy jumped out of bed and ran to the window. In the moonlight, he saw a wolf standing in front of his sheep, and it wasn't any wolf. It was the same wolf from that night. He raced downstairs and burst out of the house, shouting, "Wolf, wolf, come quickly, please." He ran as fast as he could, his voice echoing across the hills. The villagers must have heard him because soon he saw their lights flickering on in the distance. He stumbled on, his heart pounding. He could hear the wolf growling behind him. Then he cried out, "Help me, please hurry." But as he ran, something strange happened. The wolf's growls turned into whines, and then he heard it. It was the boy's voice, and it sounded like it was coming from inside the wolf. The boy stumbled and fell, and when he looked up, he saw the most terrifying sight. The wolf stood over him, and in his paws, he held the boy's old dog Bark. Whimpering, the villagers arrived just in time to see the wolf drop the dog and change back into the shepherd boy. He stood there panting, his eyes wide with fear. The villagers gasped, staring at the boy who cowered, expecting their anger, but they didn't look angry. They looked confused. And then the boy cried, "Wolf, wolf, a big bad wolf is chasing my sheep," one last time, and the words never stopped. His voice echoed across the hills, night after night, until the villagers fled the haunted sound. And in the distance, something kept answering back.